I was like, what are we talking about? I had it earlier. I
Content
think just
cut
not
through.
being invisible on LinkedIn. So we'll just go with that topic. Don't be invisible on LinkedIn. I learned something. I had my I know we're live, but this is actually relevant. So I'm part of this entrepreneurial coaching program with associated with Nasdaq, and so I've got my circle of other entrepreneurs that were paired together and stuff, and so we had to talk about like uh, what can we add to the group, like, and what do we need from the group. Of course, I mentioned LinkedIn, but it surprises me how much. Um, no clue if anybody's watching. So if you're watching, drop a comment and say hi. Um, so, but it surprised me how many people are just like, all I need for you to do is to like comment on my post because we had to say something like we needed from the group as well, like how you could support us. And a lot of people are just like, I just joined a pod and they're,
Oh God,
like, and of course I'm a
I'm
little
cringing.
cringing over in the corner, like, but it's a,
Please don't join a pod.
but that's what people like. I know if we all support each other and support, and I'm like, I'm happy to support you, these other women, because I believe that's part of what that particular group is. But I was like, oh, there's so much more you can do. There's so many ways that you can be found and seen and heard. You don't need to join a pod.
I will support your post and share it and comment on it if it aligns with what I'm doing and makes sense for me too. Not because that's what the group is.
Right. And the thing is, like, that group is not, we have a very, like, we have a, in this particular thing, oh, I have it on. There we go. I had the volume up on the phone. But in this group, it's 12 weeks. We have a graduation, like, we have to complete these assignments. We have a goal that we've established for our own businesses. So, like, it's a very serious thing. Hi, Leanna. So it's not a pod. It's not a, so that's not
No,
what the,
it's a 12-week year
yeah,
condensed.
it literally is a 12-week year, but it's very like, and even today I went into the online learning platform and it's like you have to be ready for this milestone by the 26th, and I'm like, that's in 2 days. So I'm not quite ready for it, so I'm a little behind, but that's all good. So we have Leanna here, so thank you so much for joining us. Meryl, nice to see you as well, so love seeing you there. Of course, we'll just go ahead and get started with introductions, and of course, if you catch this on the replay, please leave us a comment. Let us know that you saw it. Whether you're watching us live or on the replay, we'd love to see that. So, Shell, I'm going to pass the mic over to you, have you kick things off, and we will get started in today's conversation.
Yes. Thanks, Mel. Roy, good to see you. It's been a little bit since we've had you here. And of course, we were off last week. So, hey, everyone. Welcome back to LinkedIn 101. I'm Shell. I'm affectionately, as you can see on your screen, your LinkedIn cheerleader. I do have my pom pom today. So, Jay, if you're watching or catching us on the replay, please don't come for me. I'm ready. I'm ready to cheer everybody on. And what I do and encourage people to do, especially in this space and on LinkedIn and beyond, is to show up intentionally and engage as your authentic self. So I get really excited. You can take my energy and use that to fuel you if you don't have any energy of your own. If you need excitement, I can certainly help you find some of that to find the fun on LinkedIn so that it feels good and that you're not draining or wasting your time and energy here. And really, like, it's all about encouraging you to keep showing up and to keep committing to building momentum and reaching your goals. So I'm excited to be here and have tonight's conversation. Roy, I'm passing the mic over to you.
Thank you so much. And as you know, most times you catch me on the session. I'm driving my car back from my BNR meeting, or I'm having half of the meeting today. It's a public holiday in Australia. So here I am for 60 minutes of the time. So I'm thrilled. I call myself the promotional product disruptor. And since I've been using this terminology, it's kind of stuck in many, many ways. In my BNI chapter, people call me the promotional product disruptor because when I introduce myself, that's what I do. Now, why the disruptor? Because disruptor can mean a negative thing, but it also can mean a very positive thing. If you have a company or you have a business, whether it's a product-based business or a service-based business, and you're struggling to get brand awareness and visibility, and you can't get in front of your dream and ideal clients, then you need someone to disrupt the market to get you in front of them. And that's what I do. I use my experience of working with Fortune 500 companies that I've worked with over 10 years to assist small to medium-sized companies. They are my ideal dream clients. Small to medium-sized companies that are struggling with ways to get in front of clients. Custom top promotional product with strategies to achieve these goals. And the other thing that I've seen a lot on LinkedIn is that I assist companies, and these companies can be anywhere in the world, with preparation for trade shows. And why have I chosen this? Because a trade show brings in targeted products, it brings in exhibition systems, it brings in video brochures. So it incorporates everything that I do. And I use these as a means to share what I do and to show our sold for my customers. My name is Roy.
Thank you guys. And for those that don't know who I am, my name is Melanie Mitchell Wexler. I'm a career coach, but I'm also a LinkedIn strategist. So what does that exactly mean? I help you understand how to use LinkedIn, but also how you can use it that feels unique to you without all the extra pressure. So all that extra pressure is kind of what we're going to talk about today. And that is how loud the crickets are when you're on this platform and how you can go from being silenced to being seen, basically. And so what Roy was talking about in terms of branding, your brand's not showing up, all of this applies to you. All of it applies to LinkedIn. I know sometimes we don't feel like we are a brand. This is something I run into quite a lot as a career coach. People have trouble like, well, who am I and what do I do? You know, they understand the basics of what they do from a job perspective, but they don't know how that translates in terms of people, you know, consuming that information. How does that show up on LinkedIn? So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight was, which was a great segue from Roy, is basically, you know, you're showing up, you might be posting some content, but the silence is loud. So you might not be getting any likes. You get no comments, no leads. It's just like tumbleweed of things. So that's going to be my first question for Shell and Roy. So either one of you can just jump in here. What's one LinkedIn post you thought would flop? But I'm going to flip around this conversation. But you thought would flop, but actually took off. And share a little bit about what was included in that post. So I'm going to start off with something successful before we just talk about all that loudness that sometimes happens on the other end.
I'm going to let Roy go first while I go find a personal story post so that I have a specific to lean into. So if you can filibuster and do your thing, I'll find my example.
I most surely can. So as some of you know, and those that follow my content, I'm a serial content creator. I'm creating content probably 5 to 6, even sometimes 7 times a week. But I don't just post content for the sake of content. I post content because I have a strategy, I have a plan, and I have an intention what I want to do. So of recent, I'm going to share with you something that I started quite recently inspire you, anybody. First of all, we all know in government, there is a lot of corruption. And 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 there So how do I keep motivated and inspired when engagement is down? I have a look at the people that like my posts, and I have a look at the people that comment on it. And if I see one brand new person, that inspires me. Because if engagement's down, which it is, this is not my, the world according to Roy Kowalski. This is the world according to Richard van der Blom. And the reality is that if I can find one person, and I'm finding on a regular basis much more than one person, then I'm getting 2 or 3 people visiting my content every single time. Isn't that so? Yes, I have had some like extremely good, from content. As you know, some of you know, I had like, I think it was 4.5 million impressions on one of the video posts. I've had many, many. I've been featured in LinkedIn, LinkedIn news 16 consecutive times, twice in 1 week. So I've had lots of successful posts, but the reality is that you're not going to have a successful post every single time that you post. So here's the thing. This is what I've learned, is that you've got to look past that post that you think, and many times I think, this is a brilliant post. Tank. So what? Guess what? The sun comes up the next day. And guess what? I'm going to post again tomorrow. And tomorrow, when I think this post, well, a bit average, flies there. So the word to mix in over here is the word consistency, is to show level consistency, to be able to be in the game watching. So that's my starting point for today's discussion. Be consistent, have an intention, and make sure that you see past the posts that tank, because the next one could be that one that is going to skyrocket. Over to you, Shel.
Thanks, Roy. I love your points about consistency, and the reminder to like, even if your post doesn't do as well as you expected, it's still consistent content that people can come back to. It's evergreen, and like to keep going. Like you're not just putting out one thing and that's it. Like you get to still have the day you're gonna have and come back the next day and do it all over again. So I did while you were chatting and sharing. I did go back and look through some of my post history for the last 30 days, 90 days, 365 days. And I can't just pinpoint one specific post that did better than expected, but I'm noticing a trend. The ones that seem to perform better, no surprise here, they're videos. They're usually videos of from with snippets of conversations, either from our conversations here when I pull out a gem or two that I really think like, okay, people heard it here. I want to share this with the rest of my audience too, and then reshare it. So it's video. Um, it's also like personal stories and relatable moments. So like that post I shared a few months ago when I actually got to meet one of my LinkedIn besties, Mel Richards, who's here in the audience today. Like that post did really, really well because I shared a picture and a relatable story about how we've been building this beautiful relationship for years and finally got to meet each other in real life. And so the trends that I'm seeing are the personal, relatable stories and also like the real moments that people can see me in action doing the thing or explaining how to do something better or explaining my experience with it. And those are usually the snippets from our conversations right here or from other meetings or lives together. But yeah, between the video and the relatable stories, that's what I'm noticing for me is performing way better than anything else. But I don't just let it sit there. I take it that next step further. Like I said, like a lot of what performs well for me is repurposing the content from these lives. So I'm keeping that conversation going in a variety of different ways. I'm also then getting getting more visibility from people who may not have seen that initial live to direct them to go watch the full conversation. And I'm also interacting with everybody who comments and engages on that post to keep those conversations and stay relevant and top of mind. Even if I'm not in the comments posting and sharing back and forth with everybody, believe me, I'm in the DMs too, being like, hey, thanks so much for the love on that post. I'd love to talk to you more about this. Like, what resonated with you? Or, like, let's hop on a call and see what can happen. Like, I'm nurturing all the time. So I don't just take the content for what it is and then just keep posting every day. Like, I really lean into it and find those deeper conversations worth having, and that's what fuels the thing to keep going as I share more and more content. So yeah, that's what's working for me. That's my what I'm noticing as a trend. And back over to you, Mel, because I'd love to hear your win.
Well, the one that comes to mind is one. It's been a while since this has happened, but I'm gonna flip the coin on it as well. Surprise here. It was a poll, and I remember the poll. It was like, "What was your first job?" Most of my polls are always going to be on two topics, and so going to kind of add some of this about the consistency piece here too. My polls always happen on Mondays. Um, they're going to either be on careers or they're going to be about LinkedIn. One or the two topics. That's I occasionally I might do a fun poll of something random, but that's always what my polls are going to be on. But this was a simple poll, like I think it was something like when was your at what age was your first job, and it was four different ranges that you could vote in, and I mean it had something like I know it was something like I mean, it was like at least 5,000 votes or something. I mean, it was like crazy numbers. I mean, it was to the point where it's like I couldn't keep up with oh my gosh, and I had a call to action, and I think that's also encourage. Tell us in the comments what your first job was. How old were you, and what your first job was? So it had crazy amount of engagement on it. But that poll did extremely well. I have pretty good luck with having polls that do fairly consistently well. Except last Monday when my poll just I don't even know how many I stopped. I didn't even look at it. I know it didn't have very many votes on it. So, but to your point, Shell, and to your point, Roy, and even Sebastian made this comment. There's a lot of ways consistency can show up because I like to go back to my polls, for example, and take it a step deeper depending on what the poll is about. So if it's a LinkedIn poll, I'll go back to that poll and say to that individual, hey, thanks for voting in the poll. Here's the results. I'd like to invite you to, and I may invite them to my career coaches on call room, or I might invite them to come and check out this room. So depending on, the day of the week or wherever we're at. So I try to take that a next step and create engagement from that standpoint and actually have conversations with individuals. Actually, don't poll this week didn't do too bad. It's got 68 votes. So it's not a high one, but, there's still a lot of people that, a fair amount of people that voted. So, success can come in a lot of different ways. Sometimes you just never know. And it's also good to your point, Shell, I think, like research. This happened to be kind of like on cover letters. Usually cover letters get a little bit more traction on that, but this one didn't. So that's something that I'll keep in mind of. So I think it's just good for you to look at what you're posting, what is resonating, what's not resonating, but it doesn't mean you can't come back to it. That's the other thing. Just because it doesn't mean it's failed Monday, doesn't mean I can't come in 3 weeks talk about cover letters on something else. So I think that's also the thing to remember. So I put a question in there for the audience. Be honest. When's the last time you posted anything on LinkedIn? Share in the comments. We want to hear from you. So I've got another question, guys, for you. When did you realize, and this is more of a like becoming a LinkedIn rock star, when did you realize your LinkedIn content was actually working for you? Was there a moment in time that you were like, and I know, Roy, I know you've got some stories of getting some big time clients from your LinkedIn content. They didn't happen overnight, but I know it's happened. So When did you realize though that your LinkedIn content, like, ooh, there's something here I should be focused on?
Well, let me say that it's like a miracle happens sometimes, because I've been posting for many years now. And initially, if I go like almost back to when I started, to wake up on Tuesday morning or any morning and say, today. And what I'd do is I'd put up a post and I'd say, this product that I sell is the most incredible product. It's going to work for you. Here's the price. Contact me. Zero. As many times as I posted that, zero multiplied by zero is zero. Then I came to the realization, hold on a sec. If I can showcase how this helps other people, then maybe I'll get some interaction out of it. And that's the realization for me, that people know about like what they can buy from you. They want to be able to say, I have got that same problem. If this guy can help that person, maybe he can help me. And the only way you can do that is to formulate your content in such a way. And I'm not saying this is the only way, because there are millions of ways, gazillions of ways. But the way I do it is I say, my customer shell had this particular problem. I used this particular product with this strategy to overcome that problem. This was the result for Shell and her company. If this resonates with you, we should be talking. And that's where I started getting results. When people started to say, this is what resonates with me. But here's probably the most important thing. That didn't happen the day after the post. That happened 3 weeks after the post, or 3 months after the post, or 3 years after the post. I had people come back to me 5 years later, now ready to buy from you. The point is that we have to keep going, because our content has to hit the mark. It's got to resonate with our ideal dream clients. And you've got to keep going at it, because one day, if you're in their minds, they're going to come back to you. My name is Roy, and I'm out.
I absolutely love that. And I think this is such an important thing, folks, to understand. And it's a topic that I've been kind of talking a little bit about a lot this week. And I'm going to go back to Shell. Is this isn't a one-time thing. It's going to take time. Okay. And obviously, no, we don't want to have to sit around and hope and pray for 3 years that somebody finally buys from us. There's ways we can fix that. I'll share that up front. But what we do want is to understand it's a layered process. And here's the thing that is going to help you. I was talking to, so I'll backtrack. So I've been in video production for these courses that I was hired to train and teach. Whole new experience doing video. I know it's ironic for those that are watching, knowing that I do not like video, so I had to, be on camera for 4 courses and read from a script, and it's been kind of a crazy 2.5 weeks. But I was talking to the production guy who I got to know really well, and one of the things we were talking about was he has some friends that are looking in the job market, and I was like, less than 1% of job seekers, and honestly, it's not just job seekers, it's business owners, it's coaches, it's entrepreneurs. They're not putting any information out there. But to Roy's point, they're not putting the information out there in the way of what they've learned, how they apply it, what's happening in their industry, how they can help people. They're just simply not sharing. And if you just started sharing once a week something, a tidbit, a fact, or something, you would be 10 times ahead of the curve already, because the majority of people simply are not doing that. And that's the big thing. And I really want people to understand that this is laying the groundwork for continuous people to find you. It's always, there's always people lurking. And I did that question and I have it up on the screen. Drop an emoji if you've posted something recently. Or the little face or a face emoji if you've just been lurking. We'll talk a little bit about the lurkers. I'm going to be talking with Americo on another LinkedIn Live soon. I think it's next month. About lurkers. So, definitely they're out there, they're watching, and they're reading, and they're consuming this information. Shell, when did you realize, ooh, I've got something here, it's working?
I have got something here and it is working. Um, so, so first off, before I answer that question, Jay wasn't here before when I waved my pom pom, so I just want him to literally see it now that I know he's in the room. You don't have to go back and watch the replay. I have it cheering you guys on. When I noticed that stuff was working was when clients and even people that weren't clients would tell me, "Hey, I did the thing and it worked." And that is like my greatest feedback, like ever. In fact, it happened yesterday. And it's not necessarily related to and of course, now I have posts and content that I have created from that based on that feedback from her. But like, that is the greatest testimonial that I can receive and use to highlight for other people that like, okay, we've got something here. Like when we talk through stuff, I'm not just spouting nonsense and fluff and regurgitating what I think works. We've put it into practice time and time again and action it and refine it. And it's that moment when clients come back or when I have conversations with potential clients or even people that I know you're probably never going to be a client and I still want to help you. Like I have conversations all the time. People are literally saying, I implemented what we went over and it works. Or I noticed a change immediately. That that's not nothing. Those are the aha moments that I love having. So I can't tell you like I had this moment on March 4th, 2022 and I've been doing everything right ever since then. No, it's a continuous thing that like I keep getting this feedback and it lets me know I'm on the right track. I should continue this way. It's not didn't just happen one time. It happens over and over again. And it's those aha moments, even though they're like sprinkled in and sometimes they're few and farther between. And that's okay. Those are the moments that, and Mel and I talk about this too pretty regularly, that we're like, all right, go look at your recommendations. You're doing good. Because if it wasn't working, if if I wasn't helping people, if we weren't helping people, then I wouldn't be getting that feedback to keep doing it. I wouldn't have those recommendations. People don't say nice things just for the sake of saying nice things. Okay, maybe they do. But I know those are not you guys. You're saying things with intention because you've tried it, because you've been here, you've seen what can happen. So, yeah, it's not just one moment, Mel. It's recurring moments over and over again that let me know, like, yeah, there's something to this, and I'm going to keep going with this trajectory.
Well, I also think that it's, yeah, I mean, for me, it's those people that I've worked with in the past that have been like, oh, I see your content, and it still surprises me. I'm like, oh, you do? Like, I don't know where I think this content goes. Like, I'm like, who watches it or sees it? But I'm like, oh, wow, okay. And those are the people that, I kind of like, um, you know, I walked away from recruiting and, well, I did. I walked away from recruiting and I created this whole other business. It's been an offshoot of that recruiting life. And so for me getting their, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, for me getting their approval, that means something to me because I respect them. I respect, like, we work together and I respect them. So I think it is important when we receive that. But the whole point of this conversation is to understand that really want everybody that's watching to encourage you today to think about what is something that you could post, especially if you've never posted. I know that's scary. I'm not necessarily in love with my content all the time. I can engage all day, like I just looked at my statistics because they're changing how you come up in appearances. I come up, people find me 74% of the time in comments. That is how people find me. It's 20% based on my own posts. I think there's also some things that posts are down in terms of that. Engagement never really is down. It's all based on where you're engaging. So, but you can tell that's where I spend the bulk of my time. But that also being said, that is, it's important just for us to really push ourselves out of that comfort zone and into the ability of not letting all of the crickets or the, oh, that post failed, or oh, I heard this, you can't do this on LinkedIn. Let all of that go and just jump in, because you really don't know what you're missing unless you just jump into the pool. So I really encourage you, everybody, to think about that. And we'd love to hear if you do take our advice and jump into the pool and post something. Tag us, let us know, put us in the comments and say, hey, look at me, look at what I just did. We want to hear from you on that, folks. We want to see that progress. Jay
No,
did have a question, which I think, oh, go ahead, Roy, and then we'll go to Jay's
no,
question.
yes, I saw that from Jay. I wanted to just share something. One of my special friends, Jacqueline White, is part of this. She would know earlier. So today, and she's projected this particular aspect is Do One Give Day, which is part of her organization 365 Give, which is give every single day of the year. But Thursday, the 24th, don't forget it's 25th in Australia, but 24th in the US today is Do One Give Day. And we ran this LinkedIn live yesterday. Now you know that I've done many LinkedIn lives, but I've never ever had sort of engagement. Number of people on the stage, 7, and 5 people joined us. But here's the thing: the post that we put out was based on a video that Jacqueline put together of different people. So this person said one sentence, somebody else said one word. Now, here's the thing: that post that I created was reshared and reposted 17 different times by 17 different people. And the point I'm trying to make here is, number one, what Jacqueline is doing is the most incredible thing. Yeah, I promise you, if you go and listen to that replay, you will be in tears. The most incredible stories of people that have helped others. But here's the thing: you and me, we've got stories that we know. We come across aspects of our daily lives that other people will resonate with. You don't need to go and search for content. You don't need to say, I've got to do this or I've got to do that. As you walk down the street, I guarantee you'll find 5 things or 10 things or 2 things that you could write content in. And that's your next content creator, because people are interested in stories. The most powerful is storytelling, whether the storytelling is in carousels, whether it's in videos, whether it's in pictures, whether it's in articles. If you can tell a story, you're on the right track. And that is, for me, is such an easy gateway into starting content creation. Start telling some of the stories you have in your life, don't tell on any other media platform.
I love it. And I did get a chance to get a glimpse of that. I will have to go back and watch the replay, but it is, I mean, there's so much power also. There's so much power in community, and there's so much power in having people that are really supporting you. I mean, I'm going to take a moment and, give gratitude for both of you, because, I look forward to this on Thursdays. I'm actually changing up my schedule and some of the things that I'm going to make this announcement here. I'll make it, Shell knows, but I'm going to give up. I'm moving away from doing LinkedIn Masteries on Tuesdays. I'm just going to be focused on LinkedIn Rockstar. We're going to be kind of rebranding and just, we're not going to be becoming a LinkedIn Rockstar. We're going to, or LinkedIn 101, we're just going to name it the LinkedIn Rockstar, or something along those lines. So, but yeah, I'm going to be kind of, transitioning it, and, because these things are time consuming, but I actually look forward, honestly, I could just, you could put the three of us on live and just, I would have a conversation with these two individuals that I adore so much. So, I'm like, give me an hour on Thursday. That's all I need to get me restarted, re-going for the rest of the week. That's all I need. There's a little bit of Roy, a little bit of Shell, and I'm good. So,
And a little bit of all of you.
and absolutely, I mean, we love seeing it. And I want to, I think these are definitely cheerleading moments here, Shell, where Jay mentioned that he's hosting his very first LinkedIn Live event next Wednesday. He did ask for what are some steps to become, you know, you need to do so that an event becomes successful. And of course, Shell, you and I run, LinkedIn Lives together and separately. Of course, Roy does his as well on Fridays, as well as with us. I know Americo's in the audience as well watching. He does amazing LinkedIn Live. So, what would be your advice on how to make a successful event? Either one can go first.
I mean, there's so many different things. I will start with the first thing that I want to say, and I guess we can like go back and forth on this and keep adding things. Uh, Test your tech out ahead of time. Like make sure that it connects properly, that you're on the right like Wi-Fi or connection, that it's stable. Like test your setup. Don't wait until like 2 minutes before it's supposed to start to make sure that the connection is good. Um, and I think that that's with any kind, whether it's on this platform or any others, that's a good rule of thumb. Roy, what are some of your tips for having a successful live event?
Well, I think it's having a lucky. That's how I try and give it. Just have a written, and I'm going to say this because America's help, I wouldn't have known where to start. I mean, we all got the biggest shock of our lives when the LinkedIn audios went. And what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Where are we going to start? Well, guess what? We are doing this now, number one. Number two, we're doing it with video, and you know how much more impactful that is. So my tips would be like this: is make sure that your streaming is done properly. Like for instance, and I'm going to share this, and now this is no disrespect to Mel or Shell in any way, but do you know that you can have a little ticker running along the bottom? Something that another aspect is promote the event well in advance. So set it a week before, create a post from it. And the way it works is you set the event in Restream or StreamYard, wherever it might be, and immediately it sets the LinkedIn event. But here's some of the little things that I learned. If you don't go into the event and change the time and the country, it just gives you anything. These are things that we learn. Number two, it just creates the title of your room. That's all. You got to recreate the post. So if you're ready to do this, reach out to any of us that have done it a number of times. Like I reached out to America. There's so many little aspects, but here's something that I also want to add in, because this is something that we haven't spoken about, and I want to share this. Is every LinkedIn live that I do, link and I send it to my offshore social media carousel builder, and they build me a carousel, a summary of what happened, and I use that as my content for my next post. And then in the post, I say, join us at the next one on this date, and here's the link. So what I'm using the opportunity to promote the last one and then to showcase I've got another one coming up. But there are many, many, many. I could sit and speak here for the next who knows how long. But the reality of it is that you've got to be properly prepared, and that is the key element, is to have everything properly prepared, because if you're properly prepared, you will get that traction. And don't keep it silent. Get onto the soapbox and shout as loud as you can, because the more people that know about it, the more chance you've got of them coming to the event.
Everything that Roy said, Jay. I mean, here's the thing. This is an ability. Don't get discouraged. I want to just say, like, if it doesn't necessarily take off right away, it's definitely been several weeks since it's been more than several weeks, but we were building a lot of traction and steam with LinkedIn Audio, and when LinkedIn Audio came to a halt, I was having a very tough time deciding where I wanted to spend my time, what I wanted to do. Didn't, was getting frustrated, and partially why I'm also kind of redoing my schedule coming up is so that I can give this more time. I can give the production behind the scenes. I can give all of that more attention and really build this, and build that audience. Like tonight's audience is amazing. I'm seeing people coming in from lots of different channels. So we can pair our channels, seeing a lot of engagement. That that's what fuels us to do these things, from that standpoint. So um, and so I think that's the one thing of, like, share with as many people as possible. I mentioned, like, I do a poll, and if it's a career poll, I'll invite them to come to the career coaches room I run. If it's a LinkedIn poll, and sometimes, honestly, even if it's a career poll, I'll still invite them to this room, because we talk. This room's for everyone. This live is for everyone. Encouraging those conversations. Also, give you permission to share in our group chats as well. We want to encourage you and let everybody know what you're doing, because you have a voice, you have a message that needs, deserves to be heard, and we want to support you in that. So yeah, so just, and just show, but here's the thing, we're talking about, being visible, being seen, being heard, and you're doing just that, Jay. You're stepping up to the plate. You're willing to jump in to a very deep into the pool, because believe me, I and Shell knows this, and Roy knows this too. I couldn't make up my mind for the life of me what I wanted to do when LinkedIn Audio ended. I was like, not
We went back and forth
loving,
a lot.
yeah, back in, because I'm not loving Clubhouse. That's where some of the rooms are. I'm not enjoying it like I once did. And you need to love the thing that you put your heart into. And this is why, I mean, I love being with Shell and Roy. So it's really easy there. So yeah, so it's just one of the things that, just know that it takes some work. There's some fine tuning. If it's not right the first time, that's okay. You know why? Because you showed up. You showed up, and you're going to put something out. So props to you. Cue Shell for the pom pom. And see, now we've got props. We've got lots of things happening here, folks. I mean, it's all fun and games. So, but I just want to give a shout out to Jay there. Well, Joy, it's joyful, but Jay as well. Um, so I can't talk. Um, I'm going to ask you guys another question here really quick. What do you think is the most common mistake people make when trying to be visible on LinkedIn? What do you think? And this leads to our earlier conversation. I don't know how many people um, saw that, but I'll share a little bit of that backstory. But what do you think the common mistake, or you feel like the common mistake people are making to be found and to be seen?
You want me to go first?
You get
Want
to
me to go
go
first?
first. You put it on Roy every time.
No, I'll do it. There's two things that I think are missteps. Is one, posting and ghosting. So like you post and then you just don't do anything else with it. Like you don't come back to it, you don't interact with anybody. Um, and then it just like goes out into the ether, and then you're sad when nobody sees it or interacts with it, because you have to interact and engage too. The other thing is chasing the vanity metrics. And I think those two things go hand in hand. So those are the two biggest missteps that I see.
There are lots and lots of them, but some of them that I think are really relevant is not responding to comments on your own post. I mean, how crazy is that? Someone saying to you, I'd love to have a conversation with you, and you remain silent. No, doesn't work that. So if you're going to post and someone comments on it, start of the conversation. I think that's a huge mistake on LinkedIn, is people don't respond. Here's the other mistake that I think people make. They think that if they post once a week and that's it, that they've actually covered it. Another mistake. If you're going to post, then go and engage as well. And I'll tell you why. If you post one post, you invite people to you. You're saying, if you go and engage posts, you're starting 10 new possible conversations. Let me repeat this. If you post on your own, you're inviting people to you. If people don't come, that's the end of the conversation. When you go to 10 other people's content and you engage on it, what you're doing is you're starting new conversations. So those are the two mistakes that I think people make. They don't respond to the comments on their own post, and they don't engage enough. If you want to get traction on LinkedIn, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it loud and clear, because I know that my two friends will agree with me. Go and engage on posts. Here's what I do. And as I
What?
say, there's no right and there's no wrong. 1 hour of LinkedIn, 15 minutes, 25% content creation, 7% engagement with other people, 25% 75% engaging in other people's content. That's where the conversations go, is when you're engaging, because somebody sees your comment and they comment on it. And the next thing you can say, oh, I noticed that Shell commented on mine. You can send your DM. Anyway, I could talk about this for the next 2 days. Those are my two things that I think are really, really irrelevant.
Yeah. And when it comes to engagement too, I I think of it in like terms of like different buckets. Like I don't just engage with the same people all the time. Like yes, I do have a lot of different people that I enjoy engaging with, but I have three separate buckets that I've created for myself. Actually bookmarks if I want to be more specific, so that I can just get right to it and not have to scroll or search for anything. I interact with people who are my ideal clients. Like I go and I find my audience and I go and engage with them. I also go and engage on posts and in the DMs with other people who do similar things as me. So I support them. I engage with other LinkedIn experts, coaches, cheerleaders, what have you, like that talk about similar or relate things that are adjacent to the same things that I talk about. Because guess what? Not everybody has the same personality or perspective or experience as me. They may have a different take on something, and so I can put my unique spin on it. And so I engage with those people. And then the third bucket is, actually, I guess it's more like a fourth bucket. My third bucket is my supporters. I go and engage with people who may not be in the same area of expertise or lane as me. They may be doing so many other things entirely, but I know they support me, and so I'm gonna go and show love on their posts and support them. And then the fourth bucket is that I comment on top voices in and around the things that I know my ideal audience appreciates. So those are like the bigger voices that are on the platform where I know people are already gravitating toward those perspectives. They may not be experts necessarily in what I do, but they are experts that other people in that my audience goes and checks out. These are usually like more for me, they're more mindset related or like health and wellness related people. the Brene Browns, the Mel Robbinses, the Tony Robbins, Tim Ferrisses, like those types of people, because I know that my audience resonates with that, and so I go and engage there. So I have 4 different buckets of people that I engage with regularly, and it gives me visibility in all of those sectors, and then also creates new gateways for me to have conversations.
Absolutely. So I think if somebody is just starting out, I'm going to go slightly different. And this is something Shell and I have talked about. And I think Roy will agree with me on this too. Because I think all 3 of us did this when we were first starting our LinkedIn journey as, business owners and, for us coaches. And is it, and I know this is going to sound kind of ironic given the fact that Shell and I coach specifically on LinkedIn, but I'm going to wrap it around here for you folks. It's listening to all of the advice that's out there and not finding what works for you. And then going, oh, well, that didn't work for me. And I think the one thing that brought us all 3 together was we listened to the advice. We absolutely did. But the one thing that we finally figured out on our own, oh, we got to make it work for us. We got to make it work for who we are as individuals, but also make it work for our audiences. Because there's not, quote unquote, just the right and wrong way, despite what you see. And I know that sounds ironic coming from somebody that's going to say, hey, let Shell and I help you, join LinkedIn Rockstar Academy cohort. Let us coach you. But here's the one thing that we've been very adamant about in that process is we're going to show you a way that doesn't put pressure on you to show up as somebody that you're not. We want you to feel comfortable in your own skin and who you're speaking to. And that's
it's a framework too. It's a framework
yeah.
to take it, implement it, and make it your own based on what parts, all or even portions of it work for you.
100%. And that
let
is
me
what we've, a lot of people. So somebody had said, well, why would I hire both of you to coach me on LinkedIn? And it was a very good question because I'm like, why would you? And I realized that was the thing that we've learned from our own experiences. We've taken all the best knowledge that we've learned and we're going to give it to you, but we're going to do it in a way that you can use, but also teaching you. Like it's not like, oh, you have to post 7 days a week. No, you don't have to post 7 days a week. You can do all sorts of types of content. You don't have to do just here's play around with it and have fun with it. And I think that's one. And then for those that were listening right as we started, I'm also in a program that I'm getting through NASDAQ mentorship for entrepreneurs, for women entrepreneurs. And I met with my group today and we were talking about what we bring to the group, how we can help. I mentioned LinkedIn. A lot of people are saying, I don't understand the LinkedIn algorithm. There's all this advice out there. If we just support each other on our posts, that's going to be solve the problem. That's not necessarily going to solve the problem. I'm here to support people. Absolutely. Like Shell said, I have my buckets too, but that won't solve the problem. Okay. That's not beating the LinkedIn algorithm. We're not going to care about the LinkedIn algorithm, to be honest with you. It's there. We should know about it. We should learn about it, but we're not going to try to beat it. It's not something that can be beat. But what we are going to do is how are we going to show up? How are we going to engage, as to Roy's point, when somebody comments on your post, even if they don't comment with like a real question or a comment like that, you can ask like, oh, thanks for sharing that. What, was there something you particularly like, somebody today on my newsletter was, oh, thank you for sharing this newsletter. Okay, great. Thank you. What was it that you liked? I asked a question back. Sometimes I might just say, hey, thank you. It depends on how busy I am. But, sometimes I'll ask a question back to try to come up with that conversation. Taking people from your comments to your DMs, that's another important thing. So I hope you guys are going to watch the replay, pull back some, tips and tricks and things like that. But I want to pass the mic over to Roy real quick. Roy, what's up on tap for you Friday
what
in the States?
no,
And
let me let me I did try and interrupt you because
Oh yeah, go ahead.
there's a reason that I wanted to interrupt you.
He's disrupting you.
He's disruptor.
The reason that I wanted to interrupt and disrupt you because I want to tell everyone what it's going to be like to go to your academy. It's all very well for you to say how fantastic it's going to be, which it is. But I'm going to tell you because I've witnessed and learned from these two ladies for how many sessions now of how they can help people. Who wants to start on LinkedIn, going out to sea on your own, without any help, all the conditions, who knows how many high waves that you're gonna encounter? Who wants to do that? Very few people. Most people need some help. And so why not go to people that know the ropes, that can guide you, that can give you some insight? When you take off, you have confidence. And that's that Mel and Shell are putting together, absolutely timeless. It's something that is going to help people that need to get going. To start on your own, good luck. Good luck if you're going to start this on your own. It's a long and lonely road because if you don't know, how are you going to be able to show up? So I can give you a testimonial right here and now as to why you should consider Mel and Shell's Academy because it will get you on the right track. And then it's up to you. Then it's up to you. So, yes, I'm going to, I'm with too long. I just want to get my heading up here. First of all, we have a fourth host in our disruptive business leadership. It's myself and Ilya and Martin Stark and Melanie Richards is our fourth host. She's absolutely fantastic. She really is. And we do this on Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And tomorrow, it is going to be in through delegating responsibilities. In other words, the art of delegation. What can you do? What are some actionable things that can take place? And then I'm going to give one little plug here because I really think if anyone in any way has got any inner feeling, you will go and watch that replay. The Do One Give Day. And I'll tell you why. There are the most incredible stories in there. And I'm not going to go into them now, but Meryl highlighted the one about this doctor. One spoke about making sandwiches and giving it to the homeless. And I promise you, if you don't cry during that, there's something wrong with you. So if you're interested in going and learning about how important the impact is on giving, that's the session to go. And I'll tell you this: I've watched it 3 since I did it. It's less than 24 hours. I've listened more times. Every time I listen to it, my heart just melts. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I'm going to tell Shell to prepare because she's been very not emotional in a bad way, but a lot of things are striking her heart this week. She's had a lot of people just sharing some great success of like her success, and so yeah, you might pull out the tissue there, Shell, early on because you might.
I was crying.
Your emotions will run high, so it might. Give yourself some space to prepare for that. So
post coming Monday and Tuesday related to that.
Right. So yeah. So no, I love that. I love how much you give, Roy. Truly, you give to us, you give to the other co-hosts. So excited that Mel Richards has joined you guys on that on your team as well. I call it your team, but the team. Martin, I see Martin just commented as well, and to Roy's comment about our advice as well, we love Martin. We love some Martin Stark. We absolutely do. There were over 200 changes to this platform last year. Can you imagine having to try it? I can't keep up with them. There's people that actually keep up with them, but you know, one of our goals is that we just try to educate you on how to keep up with them, but in a way that's easy to consume. So, um, Shell, closing thoughts. And I'm just going to share ahead of time, we are kind of working on a revised LinkedIn Rockstar Academy. We've been working on it in behind the scenes, doing some revision, things like that. So stay tuned. We're getting Melanie through the month of April, and we're almost there. Getting Melanie through the month of April, and then we just have to graduate my kid from college, and life should somewhat return to normal, maybe.
That'll be part of the rebranding that Melanie
Right.
mentioned a little bit earlier. No, close. I love it. Everything that's coming. Seeds that we've been planting for quite a while now. And yeah, I'm always excited for like what's next because I know it's part of all the hard work that we and effort that we've been putting in along the way. And so I hope you'll stick around and join us for that as it continues to evolve, just like LinkedIn and just like ourselves. I want to thank you and everyone for joining us today. We had an amazing audience. So many people are um, regular supporters that were here. Yes, I'll break out the pom poms for this too. Thank you for being here. We had a lot of new faces in the chat as well. So would love to continue those conversations with you guys. If you found this helpful, please make sure to either comment on it, create a post on it, take a screenshot, message us privately. Please make sure, as I always say every week, although, I miss the days when I could just say, look up, look down, look left, or look right. I'm going to say that anyway because it just feels natural to. But go back to the event page, look at the comments, see who joined you here, see what conversations are right in front of you that you can continue, and go and build some relationships. Because that's the LinkedIn Rockstar way is to engage, 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 but do it intentionally. And we'll make sure to be right back here next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel, or LinkedIn time, LinkedIn channel. I don't know, different event page. You know the drill.
Thank you guys. Gonna wrap up. I've got a random client evening meeting, so I've got to go rush to that. But we will be back next week. So look forward to seeing you, and we will talk to you